and welcome to Jabberjaw. I'm your host, Jessica Dawson Collier, and with me, as always, is Tyson Wheeler Dynas and Matthew David Smith. Guys, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And a thank you.
Thank you.
So, did anybody have any Satanist attacks or anything during the eclipse?
We're just gonna jump into yeah.
We are. We're not even gonna. Yeah.
Did
This whole
rivers turn
soliloquy I was
red?
going to go into about this new phase of my life. It's pretty damn neat. We got very lucky. We were Indianapolis was finally in the path of totality. It's the biggest
So
thing to happen in the
badass.
city. Yeah. So, and no, weather was great. We had a nice little park across from Kathy's house, or a little
Nice.
reservoir, and went over there and just kind of hung out. Starting about like 11:30 a.m. And my sister and brother-in-law and my nephew came down.
Aww.
To see it. And yeah, it was cool as shit. Like it was.
Isn't it weird when you get into the totality of it and everything's dark?
Yeah, it was cool. Like what
Everything's
reminded
quiet.
me of the way
Badass.
I explained it is that like right before, because you're watching so basically there's not a whole lot of change in like the ambient light, like right up until it's about like 98% covered. And I remember them,
Right.
like some of the newscasts saying, oh, even if it's like 98, 99%, it's not going to look that different. And it really didn't. Like it just looked like it was kind of lighter. But then like you went into like kind of like where the light almost like looked fake, like it was the wrong color temperature for like what it should be.
Yeah.
And then like the final thing was it looked like, just as it was like right to reach totality, it looked like a stadium light. It looked like one of those giant bright ass stadium lights on like one of those in the sky. And that was,
Wow.
I thought was like kind
Weird.
of the coolest thing. And then you see like the sort of, I'm sure you've seen all the pictures of like the halo effect, like the moon,
Yeah.
like this halo effect. And it was neat. It was, I'm not going to lie. It was, we had a lot of good food. Kathy made 2 giant sandwiches. So that was also a big day.
A comically large sandwich.
Yes, it was comically. But no, it was a really fun experience, and recommend. Would do it again if.
So yeah, I mean, so we drove up to Atchison for the one in 2017, which was full blackout. But here we had 91% coverage, and it got visibly darker outside and it visibly darker inside. Even though still, if you squinted, you'd be like, well, it's still everything's lit up, but you really notice it like when you go inside and you're like, wow. As Beth said, she's like, I feel like I have my sunglasses on. I need to take them off and put on my regular glasses.
Right.
So,
right.
That was kind of fun.
It's weird. It was weird. And I didn't really know no sort of abnormal animal behavior that I could detect, because we had a bunch of birds and stuff around us. We didn't. I mean, we were freaking out. I mean, we were the ones like clapping.
I was going to say, what about human behavior? How did that?
That was kind of all over
How were
the
your
place.
surroundings? Yeah.
It never, it's funny because I love humanity, and by that I mean I detest it. There was the main entrance to Kathy's apartment complex. They shut down because people always try to illegally park there so they can go across the street and go to the beach or whatever. And it was just funny because all day, you just see people either picking up the cones and moving them, or yelling things because they're angry. And so really I learned a lot more from the actual way people last minute is shit. Nobody planned anything. They're just let's go get in the Jeep and check this shit out. And they, and so, but no, it ultimately, they had probably a gathering of 50, 60 people kind of on the other side of us. And then we picked Kathy picked a really nice kind of off the main path spot that we were able to kind of hang out at. So yeah, it was a really, really fun day.
Let me ask you something, because we watched it on the NASA channel, nasa.gov, when it started in Mexico, and they just went to every city up to the city in Maine where they ended. And did you cry, Matt? I never cried. It didn't move me to tears. I mean, I thought it was neat, but everybody seemed to be crying. I was like, what is happening? They're like, oh, I feel closer to humanity and the earth. And I'm like, the earth? We're not even talking about that right now. It's like this. I don't know.
I did not cry. I did repent though. I did repent. Figured it was good as time as any. 3.5 minutes. It was tough, but it was.
Well done.
Need a longer window next time. Should have gone to Mexico, but yeah. No.
Well, the whole deal.
No crying.
you got to get it in there. As long as you got a chance to repent, just in case.
You're
Play all your,
fine. You're fine.
before you die, to say Hail Mary and Namaste and whatever you need to check off your list, just to cover
Right.
everything,
Whatever.
just in case.
Right. Whatever weird god you're like this weird freaky phenomenon. I don't know. We're so weird as people. We're so
We are.
simple.
We are
Like,
so weird.
we're
We'll get
yeah.
it.
Just,
I have a headline about some of the weirder things we'll get into later. But yeah, it's
no,
people are
I'm
weird.
excited to
Oh,
hear
I
that.
can't wait. Yeah.
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 So, did you go even? You didn't even try to look, did you, Dawson?
No, I was working.
Yeah.
I was working and friends were obviously in better spots. So I was just like, it's another day. I mean, there is, as it was happening, there were moments where it was like visibly darker outside, but I was
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna wait until 2040, whatever, for the next one when
There you go.
Colorado's
An
gonna
optimist.
experience
Yeah.
some total.
Yeah, I like that.
Maybe if we're around still, we'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was fine. I had some friends in Austin that sent some videos and some really great pictures, and they had a blast. They said it got real weird down there with people. Uh, One of my friends, I kept telling him to take off his shirt and paint nips with an E at the end for Eclipse. And he was like, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that, but that's a great idea. So, Lance, God damn it. I'm still disappointed in you. It's fine. Whatever.
What is that?
Missed
They said
opportunity.
so. In 7 years, it'll be like Iceland will be in the totality of like all of Iceland, and then big swath of Spain. And so we've been trying to find an excuse to go back to Iceland. Like you need an excuse, but we were talking about how cloudy it was the whole time we were there, so we should probably go to Spain
Yeah.
instead.
Yeah.
Also, it could have a goddamn earthquake
Safer bet.
volcano could be blowing up the island. They live
Ugh.
an odd life in Iceland. I have to say, that's a weird,
I
it's a
still want
weird
to
thing.
visit though.
Oh no, you have to. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It sounds
You
amazing.
you can kind of just look around and be like, okay, that guy's a transplant. It was like going to the Virgin Islands. You'd be like, okay, that guy wasn't born here. That girl came down on vacation. You'd be like, that girl came down on vacation in when she was 19 for spring break and just stayed. And I met several people like that just came down to visit and stayed.
Well, and I was watching have you guys probably not there's a travel series food show hosted by Phil Rosenthal that did
Yeah,
Everybody Loves Raymond or whatever. And
yeah.
it's called Somebody Feed Phil. I love it. I love him. The show gives me serotonin. It's great. But he went to Iceland recently. He went to Reykjavik, I think. It was Reykjavik. I could be wrong. Somebody correct me. And it's becoming like a foodie city, which Iceland hasn't been known for its food scene for obvious reasons. I feel like they have like fish jerky and things just to sustain themselves
They got the
through
lutefisk.
the harsh.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
They got the
But
urine cooked
nothing
fish.
where you're like, in a completely different part of the world and oh my god, I got to go to Iceland for this food item. But they're starting to get there.
I would agree. I mean, when we were there, we mostly ate hamburgers. Now that I think about it, they were like $22 a piece. But
I'm sure. Yeah.
but you didn't pay a tip, and some of the other stuff was really cheap, so it was kind of strange. Um, the coolest thing we did was we went to an indoor. Uh, what do they call those places that are see through where they grow plants? Greenhouse.
A greenhouse?
Yeah, it was a
Oh.
greenhouse, and they just grew tomatoes, and the way and the only thing they served was Svetlanka. Is that the national Icelandic vodka? So it was just a Bloody Mary. That's all you could get, like 6 different kinds of Bloody Marys. But they
Oh
grew these
shit.
tomatoes. It was amazing. Like, it was really neat. And they had like sandwiches and stuff. But it was yeah. But I don't think we ate. We didn't really. I don't. We didn't adventurously eat anything. I think if we went back again, Beth would be like, "I heard about this restaurant," and I'd be like, "Okay, crap. I feel
As she
urine in my
should.
urine in my future palate." Do you guys know what I'm talking about? You do. The lutefisk, how they prepare it with human urine for like
No, wait, what?
they soak it
Really?
with
Yeah.
fish. Yeah, and then they bury it in the ground for like to let it ferment for like several months, maybe many months, and then they dig it up and serve it. And it's this fermented human urine fish that is a delicacy. In
My
theory,
my grandmother, my late grandmother, loved it. She is also
really,
Swedish, and yeah. Oh God, yeah,
it's very salty. I've heard that makes sense, right?
Is it the
yeah.
chef that who's the peer?
I don't
The
know. I
I would
assume.
receptionist?
assume it's the chef. I
Yeah, I
don't
don't
Okay,
know.
know.
I
good.
really haven't asked, but that would make sense.
Yeah,
I
you
just I
probably have to.
never.
This is my dish, Wiz. Like just
Yeah. You'd have to monitor your diet so you knew something. You can't have like a bunch of asparagus before you
there. You
urinate on
know that
fish.
there's some fucking hoity-toity chef
I'm
out there that
I'm,
yeah.
I'm
Ugh,
sure there is.
God.
I have
Yep.
to imagine that like this started as like a story where like a chef back in like the 1700s got pissed off that I don't know somebody snooping his wife and then he pissed on his loonfish and here we are today. It's a delicacy.
Again, humanity.
Yeah,
Amazing.
it's
Yeah, again,
with
humanity.
yeah,
Don't look too closely. Do not look directly close at humanity.
but we kid
Wear
humanity.
almost perfectly black glasses. Uh,
I was like,
Ugh.
I literally pulled a Donnie Trump, and I was out there with my glasses over my glasses, and I was like, ah, shit, you can hardly. I was like, well, you can see it, and then instead of looking down, I just went
yeah,
right,
I did
right
that a
at the
couple times
goddamn
too.
sun,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and this is
Amazing.
after on the NASA channel they had the Surgeon General come on to warn people not to look directly at the sun.
Well
I was
done.
like,
Well
I was
done.
like, oh, that's what the Surgeon General does. He does shit like this. I had no idea. I was like, tells us not to smoke cigarettes and don't look directly in the sun. So they had a four. They
Got
have
to do something.
that show. What's that show? Wait, don't tell me. It's a radio show on NPR.
Yeah, I
Um,
saw
th-
it recorded in Chicago when I was there. God, when was that? 2017, something like that.
yeah. So here's two weird things about that show. One is the guy who hosts it directed Tommy Boy. I don't think he's ever done any other movie except Tommy
Yeah,
Boy.
I think you're right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then so that's a weird get. And second, he had the former Surgeon General on, and he's like, "We have some questions." And then he's like, "Where does the Surgeon General? Where does he sit on the 5-second rule when he drops something on the floor?" And he
That's
was like,
funny.
"Yeah." I was like, "That is a great question." um,
Yep.
yeah. So anyway, 7 years. What? 7 years from now is that 2032 Spain? We're all going. So
All right, very good. Let's do it.
Spain. I'm into it. I feel like that's going to be my retirement plan and my dreams. Maybe. We'll see.
I don't know. I don't know anything about Spain. It became abundantly clear. I've been watching this show called Impossible, and it's a quiz show that takes place in Scotland, and they hit you with these questions like name the name 5 provinces in Spain, or and then I'm like, I don't know any of
Uh-huh.
them. I would feel terrible. And then they get a United States question, and they know more than I do about the state capitals and shit. And I'm like, this is terrible. So we really are falling behind.
I'm embarrassed. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
It's true.
like, even I was like, fucking pull up a globe every now and then, Tyson, and just sit with it.
The hoops that people got to jump through to become citizens here. It's insane. I'm like, we should quiz everyone in the US this shit, but
I
they
think
don't.
that's
It's
a
fine.
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's do it at the same time you get your license. Like start at
Uh-huh.
16. Like you gotta
Yep.
yeah, and then every
I
10 years,
agree.
which we don't do that shit. But yeah, you should have a
I think the
citizen
question,
test, a good American test.
yeah, do you return the cart in the parking lot when you're done with
Right.
it? Yes or no?
No. All right, that's
No,
the
you're.
correct answer. Yes.
It's like,
You're an
get out of
American.
here.
We believe you.
Good luck in Guam.
Yep.
That's kind of America. It's fine. Um,
Although most Americans don't know that.
that's true.
Yep. Add it to the list.
Add it to
Yeah,
the list.
I sold a set of Legos last year to a military guy in Guam, and I just used the regular post office. It was great. It was like because it's technically a thing. So I was like,
Hell yeah.
yeah. So there you go. It's in the middle of fucking nowhere. I can tell you that. Uh, sorry. So anything else? Okay, so the Earth did its thing.
The
So
Earth
what else?
did its thing. Also, planets aligned, and Smith and I were in the same place at the same time recently,
Yeah, yeah.
Totally
witnessing
coincidental.
ministry.
It
Yeah.
was coincidental.
It
Yeah, we
was
knew we
totally
knew this
coincidental.
a few, but yeah, no, we met each other in Denver for the old
Yep.
ministry show, a little rock and
Yeah.
roll
At
concert
the Mission Ballroom.
at the Mission
Uh,
Ballroom, which is a great little venue. I really it had been. I was so proud of myself that my back lasted the full 3.5 hours, and I
you're
didn't
a
have to.
freaking trooper, man.
Oh,
You were also
That's
I
pretty
was
lit.
drunk. I
Not
was
gonna lie.
drunk. Yeah, yeah. I was pretty. Yeah, yeah. We
Tice, you
started
would have
off
been
at this.
giggling a lot. It was great.
Oh my
So
god.
classic Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we went to we started off because we wanted to find somewhere close, and the only thing that was like really close next to that venue is was Left Hand Brewery. Is that what that
Yeah.
place is
Left
called?
hand brewing. Yeah.
And they have like these milk stouts, which I think kind of tastes like milkshake beers. Like that's just kind of what they. And I should have known that like that was just going was the absolute worst idea. But they were there for like 2 hours before the show, and it was
Yeah. The
my
ABV on those
birthday, and
things
so
is
yeah, so
high. Yeah.
yeah,
It's also
and
sweet,
so
probably, so
so
you can't really
it was
feel it when it's
also
going down.
sweet, yes. So
Yeah.
like it basically is impurities. It's like a cup full of impurities, and they put a little douse of alcohol on at the end. That's what they should call it. Impurity IPA, yes, and so yeah, probably had
That's a
five or
great
six, and
name.
it was yeah. So the next morning was like it'd been a while since it was that rough, but no, the show was good. I've seen this is like the third or fourth time I've seen Ministry. Very loud. It was insane. Then
It was even
yeah, it
louder
was
than I was expecting. Smith,
yeah,
you
it
were
was
very good because I'd turn around and he'd go, earplugs, like 3 or 4 times. It was great. It's like, got him. But yeah, Ministry was fun. I actually really enjoyed them. The more I think about it, I'm like, I thought they put on a great show.
yeah.
Especially for
They're
that guy's
old.
age. Like, how old
Oh,
is
he's
he
old.
now? Like
Yeah,
all of them.
he's.
It's
I think he was born in like '59, so whatever that would
It's Al
be, and then
Jurgensen, is that right?
Al Jordan, yeah, and he's
Yeah, okay.
yeah.
not led the cleanest of lifestyles.
Sure,
So
that's true.
it's yeah, he's kind of like Lemmy in that way. But he no, it was good. It was a really good show, really loud, but yeah, not like totally packed. Like wasn't it didn't seem like
Yeah,
completely
it
packed to
wasn't as
me. Yeah,
packed as I was expecting, but yeah, there was a nice mosh pit that developed later in the show, which was fun. And he kept asking everybody to smoke that Colorado weed.
oh, that's right.
Oh,
Yes.
that was
Oh yeah.
awesome.
Yes, he did. He did.
uh,
Yeah. Oh man, yeah,
I was
he's
like, we're all
I don't
taking
know that
edibles now. We've graduated, buddy, but you know what? Whatever.
no, but it was fun. It was fun, and yeah, good trip. We had a good trip to Colorado too. Went to see the Garden of the Gods the
Oh, that's a
next
good one.
following day.
Nice.
So that's what
Yeah.
I
Hell
did
yeah.
with my when I had my hangover. Is I looked at magnificent nature and
I always
That's
like
what
Garden of
one
God.
does in Colorado. Yeah. I
Yeah.
love
yeah,
Garden
it's
of the
very
Gods.
very
It's
pretty
awesome.
state.
It's
Yeah,
fun.
it's very
Yeah.
pretty.
It's also like a
And
really
it
cheap way for your parents to just take you barely outside the city to see something.
super cheap. Yeah.
It's like,
And not bad for a hangover. Like honestly, like
oh,
there are
It
worse
wasn't
things.
now, wasn't it? Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Like
There was a good little
the worst time I've ever had was Estes Park, Colorado, Rocky Mountain National Park, and it was the morning after Megan and Paul Solomon's wedding. And
oh,
oh
needless
yeah.
to say, I was hammered until I didn't come home to the cabin, which my parents were at, until 4 a.m. Chrissy Tippy didn't come in until 7 a.m. You can ask her why later. And then hooking up with the groomsmen. Anyway, but we were supposed to go on a hike at 8 with my parents, and she bailed. I ended up going with them. I almost fell off the mountain probably 3 times trying to go up to Emerald Lake,
Damn.
which is like, you've been on that hike, right? Like that hike sucks when you're just sober, sound is a pound. But when you're hungover and like shit is not good, kitty alert.
yeah.
Yeah, I hated my life. I hated Chrissy. I'm still kind of bitter about it. Yeah. She also texted me at like 2 p.m. and was like, just waking up. How's that hike? I was like, fuck you so hard, dick
Yeah,
bag.
we wanted to go to Pikes Peak, but it was like, I think the Peak was closed for some reason, and so
Oh,
and
that
it was
would
going
have
to be
been
like a
fun.
it would have been fun. Like they had this train which looked really fun, but it's like $80 a person. Which I mean, like
Yeah, it's
I get it.
expensive
Like
Yeah.
now.
yeah, a little,
They
yeah. So like the
dude, we
Garden of the
got to
Gods was
do that
free,
sometime
so
though.
it would be
Yeah.
Santa
fun. No,
Claus's workshop is up there still, I
Oh,
think.
I've done that a couple
And
I've
times.
been. I went as a kid to Santa Claus's
oh,
workshop. Yeah.
dude, yeah.
Oh man.
They
Whoops.
they do the luge thing too still somewhere. I don't know if it's at Santa's Village, maybe it is. Well, not the luge, like the the cement roller coaster where you sit on a little guy and it's got wheels and you.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know what they're called, but I mean,
Dangerous. That's still
yeah,
a thing
super
Yeah, I
now?
was
dangerous.
going to say, are those
Okay,
still around?
yeah.
It seems like those like went the
Yeah,
way of like I don't know yard
nope.
darts. Like they had to
I
get rid of them
I was
now.
on a trip. I was on a trip into Aspen with Propylon. So however long ago that it was still open then. So I think yeah, because you can fly off there. You have to sign a little waiver saying yeah, if I kill myself, I won't sue you. you know. so,
Holy
but yeah,
shit.
it just goes. Like it was fun though. Uh, and then, have you seen what is it? Seven Falls. That's a place I'd like to go back again.
Seven
Yeah, I
Falls is
remember going there as a
great.
kid. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Ah,
But
that's like a big thing to do now. We tried to go, I want to say a couple years ago when Jonas and his mom and I were coming up this way. And it was just like a fucking hassle. Like you had to get on a bus and you had to pay a certain amount to go up and just see the falls. And I'm like, I'm not into it because it's attached to that expensive hotel or whatever. So
Oh,
anyway,
okay.
mm,
I remember you had to
yeah.
climb. It was like 1,000 steps to get to the top. It was quite a hike.
Yeah, yeah. It is a hike, especially when you're a little kid. You're like, "Oh, fuck this. Like, when is it going to be over? Can we get ice cream?" Like, at least that was my brain. Sorry,
uh,
parents. Yeah. Actually, my mom wherever she's at, she can attest to that. She fucking hated it too. Ugh,
What's
yeah.
off?
There's really
We
no
do
appreciation as a child for that. Like, there's just none. You
none.
just, it's all new.
Absolutely
I mean,
none.
you're
Yeah.
just as, yeah, you're just as happy. Oh,
Yeah, I'd rather go to Caspanitas again than see that.
so
I would love to go again.
who do you have to kill to get into Casa Bonita? Because they still are not accepting reservations. Like,
They're not
you
accepting
have,
reservations, and it's becoming a big deal. Like Denver Post said something that there's 60,000 people still on the waiting list trying to get in.
Well, I hope they're making money on it. I bet they are. Because I read the menu, it looks a lot nicer than the previous.
oh,
Here's,
I don't know that I've seen the menu yet.
The
yeah.
menu's good. I've had a couple friends that have actually gotten in, and they're like, "Yeah, the food's way better." So, I
Well, the
mean,
food was
people are
just
doing it.
it was just a fucking boatload of fucking enchiladas. Like that's all it was, just enchiladas
Yeah, just
and,
enchiladas and
and sopapillas.
sopapillas, and that's
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
yeah.
So,
So like
What
12
more do you
bucks you
people
get.
need? They had
Yeah,
cave
right.
divers. Come on. It
Go
wasn't
watch the
about the
puppet
food.
show, you
not
fuckhead.
complaining. Yeah, because you don't go
Oh,
to
no.
Casa Bonitas for that. You go for the cliff divers. That's it, and the tacky shit all over the place.
I hope that little arcade's still there. I used to love that little arcade that was
Oh
tucked back in that corner.
yeah,
Yeah, like
Arcade
half
in
the
a
machines
cave.
were broken, and yeah, it was
arcade
arcade
in
in
the
the cave.
cave. Yeah,
And they had
Yeah.
the beverage refill
wild.
machines were like hidden like in like little cave crevices.
Oh
So if you
yeah.
could like they were like these little waiter stations. So if you were a savvy Casa Bonita customer, you could
There
still
you go.
refill your own drink, not have to raise the sopapilla flag and then ask for a favor.
Now, I usually don't equate savvy with Caspinita customer, but that you're right. You're right. If you know how to
You
cheat
buy
the system.
yourself. It'll be interesting to see if that area, because I remember, like, I think the last time I think I went there with Ryan, probably and his cousin, probably about a decade ago, maybe closer to 12 years ago, and like it was like basically Casa Bonita and like a Dollar General, and then like like
Oh,
it was real rundown, and it was just not
yeah.
in the best of areas, and so I'm curious to see if like with 60,000 reservations, if that's if that's picked up at all, like maybe.
I think it has picked up a little bit. I read somewhere and I heard from the friends that actually went that there's a brewery that opened up right by Casa Bonitas. So that
That's a
place is
smart
fucking
idea.
That's a
busy
good
all
idea.
the
That's a
time.
smart
I mean, they're
idea.
just raking it in. Yeah. But it's still in Lakewood, Colorado. And for, yeah, like you said, like anybody who's ever been to Lakewood, it is shady as shit. Gas station, Dollar General, tattoo parlor, repeat. Like a lot
Yeah.
of that is that neighborhood. Yeah.
I kind of remember.
So
We always accidentally hit a gas station in that, because isn't that like one of the last places you can hit a gas station before you get up into the
before
mountains?
you get, well, before you get
Into
into
it.
the city, like into the downtown area of Denver. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Because we were trying to
Because you can
avoid.
see, I mean, you can see downtown Denver from Lakewood, and I mean, you're basically right there. But yeah, it's
This might
shady.
this might be
It's a
the
little
most we've
shady.
ever talked about another town on this podcast. That wasn't Hayes or Joaquin.
Come on down. Yeah. I think you're right. I'm
Uh,
Colorado proud. I'm into it.
There you
All of
go.
the
There you
shady
go.
shit, all of
atta
the
girl.
cheesy shit. Yeah. I'm a mountain woman, guys.
I
You're a
am.
mountain
No, I'm
lady.
not.
Oh boy. Gonna open up a
I
God,
cosmetic
still
no.
themed
one of my
restaurant. Yeah.
favorite. Yeah, one of my favorite places to shop still are those Colorado like novelty junk stores. Like where you could buy
Yeah, yeah.
like a bunch of polished rocks, or like I don't know, like a coonskin hat, which is what I bought last time I was there.
Yeah.
Like so I love
Perfect.
those
Yeah.
places. And it's like $10 and see the world. It's great. And
I was a big
yeah.
big Fool's Gold fan when I was a
Oh
kid.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
that
Oh,
Iron
yeah.
Pirate. It's like I love that. That was definitely something you acquired at the Colorado gift
Yes.
shops.
yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah. Those gift shops. Also, the name tags that look like the Colorado license plates with your name.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was always a point of contention with some people we were with. Because my brother and I were named like Jessica and Matthew. Our
Yeah.
names are
Right.
all over all of that shit. But like anybody else we were with, you couldn't find their names for shit on any of it. We're over there like dangling our keychains, like, "Ooh, sucks to be you." I'm like,
Yeah.
these.
Pretty
Why
safe
are
for the
we doing this?
wasp.
It
But
sucks.
yeah,
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
not a wasp. You're digging. You're like
Yeah, you know what? We went to the little science center at the uh, train station in Kansas City, and they had those little plates, and Tyree was on there. That was the closest I've ever seen Tyson, except for Tyler.
amazing.
But Tyree, I was like, son of a bitch. This is why Etsy fucking owns my life, because if I want anything personalized, I have to go and get a special made.
Sorry, Chase.
All right,
You
always a
have a
Sally,
cooler name than
always a
us.
Sally. Yeah, always a Sally.
Yeah.
it's
Oh,
true.
there it
Yeah.
is.
More.
There's that
Yeah.
sibling bitterness. Yeah, it's fine.
Sally could care less, and I'm like, oh, this is not fair.
Well, that's how I was. My brother was always the one that cared mostly. But he didn't like to go by Matthew. He wanted Matt, just Matt, and it was always Matthew, and it was always a thing. So, yeah. Anyway.
I feel his pain. Um,
Not as
I
much
do.
as I do, Tyson. Not as much as
I was just thinking, like, the worst possible thing you can do on the worst possible hangover you've ever had is to see a second showing of Ministry. Could you imagine being super hungover and then going to see Ministry? Like, it's like, oh, anyway,
No, there
sorry.
might be like a hair of a dog effect to it. I don't know.
Maybe,
Like it was,
maybe.
Maybe.
yeah, but
I mean, I will say this also about Ministry. They love the strobe lights. There
oh
was a
yeah,
point where I was like, and Jonas, I think, said it to us. He was like, it's a good thing I don't have epilepsy or I'd be fucked right now. Like it was just constant to the point where I was like looking down at the ground at points, being like, oh my God, does this mean I'm old? Is it happening now? Like, do I need to leave?
we were
If
reading a
you're
Yeah.
write up or
asking,
somebody when somebody was reading read a write up of, I think they played in like Dallas or Houston like a couple nights previously, and the author of the article said, and something to the effect, and kudos of those 8 people who decided to do something other than black to the show this evening. And goddamn, we were just watching the line, and yeah, like it is I don't know if it's subconscious or what, but like we didn't even think about it. Like we were 5 dudes. We're all, of course, have something black. I'm not even like intentionally. Like it's just like that's the kind of souls that we have. And but it was just so funny, like because that is one thing I love about industrial and like the few goth acts that I like is just watching old goths is the most interesting thing to me, ever. It's just, they're just, wow. It's just it's a whole other commitment that their partner appreciates.
I went and saw Korn at Lakeland, Florida, different Lakeland. And I'd lived down there I think it was probably 99, 98, 99, probably 99. Mm-hmm. And my friend of mine, she had tickets. My other friend was down visiting, so we had 3 tickets. We went, and everybody in that place, everybody dressed in black, head to toe, black. And I'm wearing khaki pants with a white T-shirt. I'm like, hey, everybody. The guy, literally, I was like, well, they'll be able to pick me out of a crowd real fast if something goes bad, I don't know. But yeah.
His parents must love him. Yeah.
Even my friend who came down, who was ostensibly a cowboy, he was wearing black shirt. I mean, I'm like, oh, I think it was button up, but it was still black.
Well, and then Gary Newman opened, and from a distance,
yes.
Gary Newman looked like a 23-year-old, fresh, pimply-faced emo kid. He had the haircut.
It was weird. I didn't even recognize him.
Yeah, it was very weird. And we're talking about a guy who's, I think his first album, or at least the pivotal one, came out in 77 or 78. So he's an older gentleman. So, and it was, I enjoyed it for what it was. It was, but yes.
Well, he has Cars. What's the other song that he's known for? I can't remember the other
one. There's several that I can't think of right now because maybe I'm wrong. No, he had that one for his first album was pretty groundbreaking. And so there's a lot of decent tracks on that. It got sampled a lot too. You probably know more Gary Newman songs than you, because it was a hot sampling item. Hot sampling item back in the 90s. But no, he was it was good. Not as good as Ministry.
I loved his album covers too. Those are cool. I still like them.
So, I completely forgot to show this to you at the show, Dawson, but there was this kid who came up to me, and I just had made a comment. I was completely joking, the last podcast we had, and we were talking about getting laid after the show and CDs, and you get CDs, get something, and I was like, well, nobody ever gets laid. You got a QR code.
Yeah.
And so I had my new order sort of hoodie on, and this younger kid comes up to me. He's like, dude, New Order is one at top 10.
Of course. Of course.
Top 10. No shit. He hands me it's a little keychain thing with 2 laminated QR codes on it. And he hands this to me. I still have it. And and he's just like, you're going to really like this. I think you're going to, it totally reminded me of Tyson's story about the kid who's wanted to charge you for the CD, but he was he was selling me. And I'm like, that kid was going around to presumably as many audience members as he could, which
sure,
good salesmanship on your part, dude. But so I thought it was just this kid, right? And his band, and I'm like, I'm never gonna see. Well, hours later, while we're waiting for our Taco Bell, which God bless Taco Bell, that 12:30, whoever that genius was that delivered that. Oh my goodness, that presented a much worse hike. Although it could have had complications of its own, and it did. But I scanned them, and they were for Gary Newman's band. He had people.
Oh, he was the hype guy.
Way.
Yes, and I know it wasn't Gary Newman that handed it to me, but but I was I was not what I was expecting. Apparently, that was how Gary Newman was promoting his stuff, was a little keychain with a QR code on it.
Maybe it sounds to me so Gary Newman dressed young, right? He looked like a young man.
Oh, maybe this guy was,
yeah, completely. He had black hair, didn't he? It was a little bit of a blur, so you may have to fill him in.
Okay, he's got a very weird street team. He's got one guy with 2 QR codes, right? And I imagine this is the guy who's the kid's hey, you want to go backstage and meet Gary Newman? And so.
Well, that would have been cool. That didn't.
That would have been. Cool.
That would have been awesome. Yeah.
I like to think that there were only one set of those QR codes, and he scanned the whole audience. And who's most deserving of this convenient link to a music video online? And it was me. Top 10, baby. Yeah, it was me.
Oh, I loved it. I loved
Good
it.
show, though. Good trip. Good
It
trip. Good
was a
show.
good show. And like I think my favorite song, and I already told I think both of you guys this, was that song Goddamn White Trash. I loved it. I laughed so hard. The graphics that were playing, I was just like, it was just a Confederate flag with a row of trash cans that just kept going, and then a bunch of crackers in between. And I was just like,
That's right.
bravo, bravo.
It's not from new
New
album, so
favorite song.
they're happy
Yeah,
to hear
it
that
was
because
great.
usually he chastises. He did not do that. I don't think he did this. So usually he chastises the audience. He's like, "All right, I know all you guys want to hear is the old shit, so we're gonna play it." And that's usually his clip. No, he didn't do it. He's a little less grumpy in his older age. So
It was cute. I mean, he played
maybe
that
been
song.
that.
Was
Yeah.
it the Jesus Built My Hot Rod? And then
Oh
Gary
yeah,
Newman
Jesus
and
Bill
all
my
them
Heart.
came out and
That
fucking
was
danced
cool.
to
Yeah,
it. That was
yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah,
There are
as
moments.
they
There
ended
are
with
good
they
moments.
ended with a Fad Gadget song, which I thought was great, but I'm sure the audience
Yeah.
fucking hated. But
Oh no, people did hate it. I was looking around.
yeah,
They were
really,
just like fucking bored.
yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
thought it was awesome. I love those moments of the show when I'm the only one enjoying it.
Yeah, that's true.
Say this. I have to say this about Smith. Tice, you would it was adorable. But I told Janice and her friends that were there this. I have never, ever in my life, and I've been to quite a few shows with Smith and you, seen him go up closer to the stage and smiling, like into it, like head bobbing a little
Like,
bit, not a lot, a little
yeah,
bit. It was awesome. Because
yeah.
usually
Yes,
Tyson, this is for the folks who watch YouTube. This is Tyson and Smith in the back talking shit.
yes.
Yeah, the whole time. Whole time.
This is sometimes we're like these
Every
guys
show,
are great. Yeah, we have the same
Yeah,
expression.
exactly. Sometimes
except,
we'll give a little commentary back
yeah,
and
yeah,
forth.
yeah,
It's
a
really
little
good.
bit.
It's really good. Yeah,
Tyson
this
did
stuff
dance at
really
the
rocks.
faint.
Yeah.
I will say that. I did see
Oh yeah.
Tyson dance at the faint, but that's
Yeah.
it. It
Oh my god,
was, yeah, it
I
was
forgot
great.
about that show. Oh,
It was an emotional evening. Yeah.
that's great though. Mhm, great.
Oh, it
Matt,
was
Yeah.
awesome.
Matt, who played at that documentary we went and saw in Chicago? Remember we had you, Kathy, and I went, and it was a documentary, and then a band played after them. Do you remember this at all?
Was this?
I
Did
can't.
you go to? Was this the?
It was about the label, whatever the label was called.
Yeah, the Wax Tracks thing.
Wax
And
Trax.
was it? That's right.
Who was it that played? I
I
can't
see.
remember though.
I seem to think it was the Revolting Cocks, but I'm not 100% sure on that.
That could quite be actually. That
That
might be
sounds
it.
like it might be right. So I
Yeah,
don't know
yeah.
for
That is right.
100%, but yes, the Revolting Cocks.
Well,
Great name.
yeah.
Great name.
Excuse me. Well, you guys want?
Shall we? Headline?
Yeah,
Headlines?
I think we should headline. I think
All
they're
right.
waiting for it.
we should. But
Headline of the week.
I've missed that. Okay, let's see. So I'm gonna have to do this. Excuse me.
Oh
Oh, that's good.
God.
That's good audio.
Oh, that is.
This is from Wired.
Keeping it in.
Yeah, put that in there. The solar eclipse is the Super Bowl for conspiracists. This is from Wired magazine.
Ugh.
So here's some of the ones.
Oh.
Basically, this article just talks about all the weird shit that's been building up to this new thing. And let's see. Okay, so authorities along the path of the eclipse in the U.S. have warned about loss of cell coverage, which I don't know how that would work, electrical outages. Additionally, some towns have already declared an emergency, which Sarah Huckabee Sanders did in Little Rock for a 30-minute flyover. Anyway, that's 2 weeks of Anyway, let's see. Okay, so all of this stuff where they've keyed in on the National Guard troops being put on standby, which most of this was because the influx of tourists were coming in, and they were just having people on standby. But all this conspiracy theories are like, oh, this is the great replacing, like let's see, let's see, where's the article? There are dozens of examples being shared online, but among the most quoted involve the fact that the European Organization for Nuclear Research, CERN, will be firing up the Large Hadron Collider on the day for the first time in 2 years. Many online are linking that the celestial event to the restart of the device that more than a decade ago found the Higgs boson, which many people misleadingly labeled the God particle. It wasn't just that. NASA would launch 3 satellites, and the name of it was an atmospheric P word around Eclipse path, and so APEP. Unfortunately for NASA, APEP is also the name of an ancient Egyptian snake god associated with darkness and destruction. A coincidence that conspiracy theories have decided is relevant. A celestial body known as the Devil's Comet. Did you guys see that? Or did you see the comet when you were looking up there, Matt? We didn't see it.
No,
No.
no.
It was also visible to the naked eye in certain parts.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So this is the final one. Finally, many have linked the eclipse with an imminent sacrifice of red heifers in Israel, a practice that some Jews and evangelicals believe will variously herald the construction of a third temple in Jerusalem, the return of the Messiah, or the end of the world. Red heifers from Texas have arrived in Israel, where they will be sacrificed during the solar eclipse. The opera of a prominent conspiracy channel on Telegram wrote this week. He said, at the same time, CERN will be opening the demonic portals. So, I mean, just a lot of good stuff going on. But crazy people are entertaining until they get the vote, and then that kind of sucks. Where they get voted in.
Yeah, then stops being cute and starts getting real. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's pretty cool until you're not like dealing with it directly, and like you
Right,
have to talk
right.
to somebody about that. Anyway, I I I don't know, Matt, if you and I talked about this or if I've had a conversation about this before, but this is from NPR. NASA has been asked to create a time zone for the moon because when they start doing stuff on the moon,
I
they have
feel
to
like you
give it a
guys have
time.
talked about this.
I think we
Yeah.
did. And so anyway, but the idea was who's going to do it and how are you going to decide? Because like every country that has a space organization, you know, they'd have to agree. And I guess they just decided to let NASA do it. So that's kind
Oh,
of neat.
wow. Okay.
So
That
the
is cool.
new the new lunar time zone, coordinated lunar time, uh, LTC, is all about ensuring the success of future
So
multinational
cool.
missions to the moon. That way, when people are on the moon and they run into the other person, it's like, oh, well, it's almost 3. And they're like, no, 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 it's almost 10. So we don't have any of that hanky panky going on the moon. So that's
Hmm.
good. I suppose that's good. Uh,
The time zone hanky panky. It's forever
you, know
plagued
how
the moon.
you know how it goes. You know how it is. That's the name of my new
Hey
album,
Neil,
by the
what
way.
time is it?
That's the name of my new album.
That's a
Amazing.
good name.
That is a good name. I like it.
And this is final. This is from Esquire. Arkansas Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders did not enjoy the eclipse. She was one of the people that
Aw.
declared.
Oh, that's sad.
She is one of the governors that declared a 14-day emergency for a 30-minute event. And
Fucking twat.
uh, here's a Arkansas was in. Let's see. Okay, Arkansas was in cue ominous organ music. The path of totality, and both Arkansas and road tripping non-Arkansans seem to have been quite excited over the whole thing, except of course for the governor, no fun of any kind. Uh, for governor, no fun of any time, and a 14-day emergency for a 30-minute event. Presumably that's to cope with the locusts, the frogs, and the day that the Arkansas River turned to blood. You have to think about these. Yeah, you have to think about these things when you're the governor. So I liked his
You
tone.
know
Charles
what the
Charles
governor
Fish.
should be worried about is license plates. Like one of my friends saw when they were looking at the eclipse. It said TP for my BH.
Wow,
Amazing.
that's
Snuck one by
brilliant.
there.
I'll send it to you guys. You appreciate
That's
the
pretty
license
good.
plates, but yeah, that was a good one. Yeah,
I was at the
Arkansas.
I was at the grocery store a couple of weeks ago, and I was getting ready to leave, and I looked up, and it just said HALSATN. Hail Satan.
Good God.
I was like,
All
That's a pretty
nice.
right.
good one. Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
freedom of religion. So.
Why
That's
not?
true.
Why not?
And those are my brief but wonderful headlines. And I'm going to
Those
Yeah.
are
write down
great.
that thing
Well done.
I said. Time zone hanky panky. Yeah. All right, go ahead. If I don't write it down, I'll disappear into the ether.
That's going to be a fun title to work with for design elements for the
I think you're
album.
right. Yeah, I'm liking it.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's good.
Yeah. I guess we'll start off with the serious stuff, and then we'll sort of funnel down to the the ridiculousness.
Oh boy, I'm excited.
So just this afternoon, and this was just, I'm going to get on my sandbox for half a second and leave it. But this one just came out today. HuffPost: parents of Michigan school shooter each sentenced up to 15 years in prison. This was Jennifer and James Crumbly, Ethan Crumbly, who was killed several people in a Michigan mass shooting a few years ago. Basically, the reason why this is relevant is that this is really one of the first times I've held parents accountable for their little shits, chaos. And these parents were just like the worst pieces of shit. Like, they knew he had mental issues, and instead of taking him to a psychologist, they got him a gun because shit's gonna work itself out. And like his mom, like a couple months ago in court, basically was asked the question, like, if you were to change anything or do anything over again differently, would you? And she just said no. Which is there are like sort of there are I get like scopes of answers on some questions. This is not one of them. When your child is a school shooter, it is fair to say that you have failed as a parent, at least momentarily. I think that's a fair assessment. And so anyway, they both got sentenced to 10 to 15 years in prison today, which I think is a wonderful, wonderful thing.
Love it.
And I think it needs to happen more often because we do not hold people accountable when they do crazy shit with their own firearms, or when children do crazy shit with their firearms, and it's just something we don't take seriously.
Oh, didn't they separate? Didn't they divorce? I'm trying to remember. I think they did. I was like because that was always some aspect of the story that was like, so you guys are both going to get prison time, probably, hopefully, and then how do you keep your marriage strong after something like this happens? Like, it's kind of tough. You go to couples therapy. It's going to be a sticking point.
It's a little, it's like through couples therapy through two plexiglass walls. It's somewhat difficult. They get sends the wrong message.
On a phone.
I wish them the worst of luck, and I'm sure they will find new lovers in prison forthcoming. So they'll get through these times just fine. This is my favorite. This is just, I love this article. So NCAA March Madness. Did you guys catch into the action? Yeah,
I did.
Yeah.
Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark. I can't say it 3 times fast.
There you go.
Hard. She's great though. Fucking that was exciting.
Yeah, no, that was, and then unfortunately, I was kind of rooting for Purdue because I'm in the state of Indiana and they're from here, and so that is my connection, and so they did pretty well up until the last game.
Yeah.
That was like North Carolina State. We watched the North Carolina State game against Duke, which that was actually, I think, one of the more.
I heard that was pretty good.
It was 11th seed beat I think 4th seed Duke. It was a good game. They were a scrappy team, and then they got their asses kicked by Purdue. But it happens sometimes.
Yeah, it does happen.
And then KU shit the bed early, so the whole tournament just kind of had a.
Yeah, what's up with that?
Well, there's
Tyson, you're gonna have to have a talk with them.
Well, Bill Self called me. No, like, I guess I was asking my brother-in-law what was going on because I wasn't really paying attention. I was watching the game, I wasn't really, but I guess their normal starter had a knee injury, so their superstar player wasn't able to play,
sucks.
and then their second best player got injured during one of the games. So by the time they got to this, I think the second half of the second game they played, they got smoked that second half. I don't know if you guys watched it, but it was
yeah.
No, I didn't watch it, but I heard it's brutal.
Yay for girls basketball, though. Yay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
They got a big year. Yeah, it seemed like they got a big year.
That UConn game was crazy, too. Yeah, it was just, all of it was exciting. Very into it.
So this is from CNN. That's from a few days ago, and it is fact check. Michigan GOP legislator posted about illegal invaders at a Detroit airport. It was Gonzaga's March Madness team. So he basically posted. He thought he had the smoking gun. He had like a little clip of this like plane with non-white people getting off of it. Into his assumption that they were illegal immigrants, and no, it was just the Gonzaga's men's basketball team.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So bad.
Yes.
That is terrible.
People elected this man.
Dang it.
They listened to him, and they were like, yes, he's who we want to represent us. Anyway, yeah, that was great. This one's really more just about the headline. You know, I'm all in this for the headline, not the substance. Italian island overrun by goats is offering them free to anyone who can catch them. So
very nice.
It sounds like a fair challenge. I like a country that runs it way. It's like, we've got a goat problem. Come and get them. And I like that directness. And
yeah, I will say that. So they have less than 100 people live on the island, in excess of 600 goats. So I think they probably do need help. They probably do need help.
That's a lot. That's a problem. Yeah.
Well, if you can catch them, they're yours. I assume postage is extra, but if you can get to Italy, grab yourself a goat.
The big story. Sorry to interrupt, but the big story in Kansas City today was during the eclipse, a mountain goat, somehow got on the underside of a bridge over a river, and was just up there and wasn't panicking. You know, like mountain goats could just sit on the press, like these things.
Yeah.
So it was up there. People saw it, and they're like, what the fuck's going on up there? And then they called animal control. They couldn't figure out whose goat it was. No one's claimed it. But anyway, they didn't show it falling, but apparently it fell about 15 feet into I'm going to guess the river, because when they showed a picture of it at the shelter, it was wet. So I'm guessing that's how he got out of it. But they couldn't get him to come. They couldn't get him to come back. So, and that was the big news. That, and they're building a Mattel theme park out by the NASCAR racetrack.
Interesting.
Really?
A Mattel, interesting.
So there's a big section that's going to be a Barbie land, and then somebody mentioned.
Of course. God.
Somebody mentioned that they're going to have a He-Man laser tag emporium.
Okay, I would be down for that.
Yeah, I was like, all right.
Not gonna lie. Yeah.
Let's hope this theme park goes over better than the last one did. That's all I'm going to say. That one did somewhat poorly for that region of town. So let's hire some engineers this time, fellas. Let's do it. Yeah. Next up, always some Florida in the mix. This is from Fox 35 Orlando. I know Tyson remembers that call sign. Drunk Florida man beat up after making fun of Disney World guest with Down syndrome, deputies. So Florida man was making fun of someone with Down syndrome, and they proceeded to beat the shit out of him. So not always good on you, Florida, but good on you, Florida, this time, because I'm sure he doesn't ever do that again. Another quickie, so to speak. Molly Ringwald is pretty sure her daughter was conceived in a Studio 54 dressing room. I think it kind of stands on its own. Great. I guess she was, she just. I always had a crush on Molly Ringwald ever since I was a small lad, and it's just a little disappointing to hear that.
Okay, so I mean, with Studio 50, she was like 16, like when
it says it was in the 80s,
back then, right? Yeah.
It says, I believe Matilda was conceived in the dressing room at Studio 54 right at the end of my run playing Sally Bowles, or Bowles, not Bowles. Sally Bowles would be in the musical Cabaret. Apparently it was open
through the
to Molly Ringwald, at least until the early 2000s. So just a weird thing to bring up, Molly.
It is weird.
I don't know.
It's kind of gross.
My view is shattered.
Kid. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I know.
It's eternally hip. Can barely stand it.
That's true.
You kids don't even know what hip is. I'll tell you a story.
Yeah, let me tell you a story.
Watches her daughter just melt to the ground. Ugh. Gross.
So hopefully her daughter does not read Yahoo Entertainment. Apparently that's
probably a safe bet, Matt, to be fair.
And last, So the last one, and one question that I've never asked myself is, what does Donald Trump listen to? What are his playlists like? What are the jams that?
God.
As the title of the article dubs him DJT.
You watch your mouth. That first album is still great. God damn it.
Good.
Bastard.
That was cold, man. That was cold.
He did it, and he looked it right at me. Yeah,
he did.
How do you know? You don't. Anyway,
it's funny because I don't even hear it, and I know exactly what he's talking about.
So what does he listen to, Matt?
This is called Behind the Curtains: How Trump's Mind Works, which is terrifying. It has a really good Photoshop image of him with some gold chains. This is from Axios. So, I'm just going to so. At his oceanside retreat in Palm Beach, Trump controls the surround sound stereo system on the breezy dining patio with his big iPad and its Spotify list. Regulars joking call it DJT's performance. Why it matters. To those who know him best, Trump spinning through his golden oldies provides telling lens into his style on much bigger stages. It captures his obsession with a few familiar hits, controlling the volume, never changing. So it basically just goes and talks about like whenever like people are at Mar-a-Lago, he wants to run the stereo. And I think we all know people like this, the person that just will die, roll the music at a party. Apparently that's Tyson. I mean, not myself as well. It's a fun job. It's an important job.
I do it at work all the time. I literally get paid for it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great thing. So I get it. Like he's a little more humanistic in my mind because of this, but so just comes, makes some high notes. He always controls the volume. That
must be annoying.
He says the songs basically always stay the same. He says it's always big names and big songs people recognize.
What are these big names?
So we're just getting to that. So this was a little discerning. It's Trump's golden oldies. Few of these are going to be a little surprising. Phantom of the Opera.
Oh, that is
Jesus Christ Superstar. And Elvis, including Suspicious Minds, plus Hello
gay,
by Lionel Richie. Guns N' Roses November Rain, which I thought was an interesting selection. Yeah.
Wow.
Guns N' Roses.
He gets the best music. It's so good all the time.
And the duet, and this one is not surprising at all, and the duet by James Brown and Luciano Pavarotti, It's a Man's World. Or it's a man's world. The sort of surprising ones were Sinead O'Connor's Nothing Compares to You, and REM. He's also apparently an REM fan, which makes me a little ill.
Dear God.
And I'm sure it makes them ill.
That's not REM's fault. Okay, they were really good.
It's absolutely not REM's fault.
I feel bad for them right now, having known that. You know, like this
creating
comes out
something
and they read
that
it,
man
and it's
finds
just bad.
appealing. Yeah, is sort of so. Ugh. I'd be curious to know. I'm guessing it's their later stuff. That's I'm just going to tell myself.
There it is.
Here. Go ahead. Oh, so I was just going to go. So somebody actually shared, and again, this is just somebody who sort of stole the songs they heard this evening. We mentioned most of these. Funeral for a Friend by Elton John. Superstar, which I'm guessing is from Jesus
Carpenters.
Color, blah, blah, blah.
Oh. That might be true, yeah.
And that's about it. My Way, no surprise there. Ring of Fire,
yeah,
no fucking there. You can't always get what you want for some reason.
Big Chill.
And then they did a nice little mock-up of Now That's What Trump Calls Music, which is a CD you will not find anywhere. Except for perhaps his website. I'm sure they just gave him a new business idea, so it may be out there sooner than you think. And let me see what the REM song was. I'm curious.
The soundtrack for the Bible. Okay, that's a good marketing.
The Bible. Losing My Religion, which seems like a weird one for him. I mean, I believe it, but
good
seems
song.
Like a weird one for him.
But yeah,
it's a great song. That is a weird one.
Song. So, those are my headlines for this week.
DJ Trump,
April
fuck
9th,
my life.
2024.
DJT. Working the breeze open area on the hacienda right next to Mar-a-Lago.
All right. I just have one headline, but I think it's a good one. Man getting vasectomy when earthquake hit, thought doctor was making a joke. This is on the Huff Post. You guys heard about the earthquake that shook New York last week, right? On Friday, 4.8.
Yeah.
And it freaked a bunch of people out. So many funny memes, videos of just really sad music commemorating the day.
The Instagram story, I think, or whatever, was hilarious.
Falling on the floor, like spice falling over on islands. Like, it was just really funny. Like, all of them I loved. But this guy, I should say this. So after that headline, it says, the first thing it says is, shaken, not spermed. Heyo!
Heyo.
Terrible, terrible.
Is this some of the?
HuffPost, you're better than that. I
Oh,
thought
I was gonna
maybe
say, is
not
this the
really.
Daily News? What are we listening? Okay.
This guy Justin Allen, he's a 33-year-old father of two, doing the Lord's work. Putting out two and then cutting it off. I like it. Um, he was he posted on social media. It happened around like 10:23, and he said a fucking earthquake happened in the middle of my vasectomy in all caps on X, Twitter, whatever. Uh, Fucking hilarious. I mean, like the doctor, like he literally thought that the surgeon was screwing with him.
Well,
And basically he was just like, is that an earthquake? And then he literally freaked out and was about to freak out on the surgeon and be like, this is not the time for a joke after he explained the whole thing. And then the room started to shake. And he was like, holy shit, of all the times there could be an earthquake, it has to happen now. It's a really funny article. Like, he sounds like a really funny guy. I loved it. So yeah, check it out. It's very funny.
Wait till the Catholics get a hold of that story. Oh yeah.
They need it. They need all the help they can get at this point.
God,
Sorry,
terrifying.
guys, America.
Sorry.
That's it. That's my only headline.
That was a good one. Though.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was a good one, and quite poignant.
And quite, yeah, right.
All right, let's do. What's the? It's been
What
so
is
long.
it called, Tice?
What is that other segment?
Guess.
Recommendations. Shit that I like, and you guys
Keep
probably
going.
won't.
Yep, that's right on the path. Good. Yep.
You, the ice cream manufacturer.
Forgot. I literally.
You, the frozen food distributor. And you, the food retailer. Stand today in the midst of a selling revolution. For today, you're in a merchandising era of self-service, where display and accessibility are the key to successful merchandising. Yes, today's problem is merchandising. To sell in high volume for high profits, frozen products are impulse items. And impulse buying is primarily an emotional decision.
Okay, so a little weird sidetrack here. So after my last back surgery, I kind of made a deal with myself because I had to sit around most of last year, and I was sitting around the first 2 months of this year. So I was like, I'm gonna go work out all the time. So I've been going to work out and doing strength training, which is something I hate, but they make those machines that like basically.
Tice, it's so fun. I love it.
I like it better than free weights, but I guess that's the way to end up. So I'm not quite strong enough for any of that yet. Um, but anyway, so I've been going there, and so we put our dog Cleo on this supplement called Myos, and Myos
Haven't
is
heard of it.
it's basically egg yolks. It's just egg yolks, but they found a way to like dry them out and save them so you can whatever. And they give this stuff to dogs who are going to go into surgery, so they'll build up muscle, so they'll have they'll have an easier recovery because they've built up muscles. So one of my best friends was giving her dog. She's been giving it for a couple years, and her dog is 15 or 16, which is way older than Ozzy should live. Not way over, but 2 or 3 years. But I was like, first off, it's super fucking annoying because the dog, I just gotten used to that 12-year-old dog that didn't want to jump around and play fetch and bother me all the time. And now she's in my ass all the time. He's like, let's go for a walk. Let's go do something. Come on, get up. And I'm like, I'm happy for her, but at the same time, I'm like, this sucks. But anyway, Beth did some. I know. I couldn't just be happy with the dog. We're having a good time.
Oh God.
It's all about me. Anyway, so I was like, Beth,
It is. Your world.
I was joking. Yep, and everyone's co-starring in it. So anyway, I jokingly said to Beth, I was like, we should take that shit. That looks something that might help out. And she did some research, and she found the human version of it. It's called Yoked. It's spelled Yolked, and it's a dry sample. And you open it up, and it tastes just like a vanilla cookie. And you just eat it once a day, whenever you want to eat it.
Okay.
and we've been taking it for 6 weeks maybe. And I was getting pissed off because I know I'm losing weight, but my stupid fucking uh, the thing that you weigh on. I'm sorry, I'm just tired. The
Your
scale, the bathroom
scale?
scale.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Plugs. Yes.
That stupid fucking thing. As soon as you said that, I was like, ah, yes, I know that.
it
Yes.
wasn't going
Familiar.
down, and then she was like, "Yeah, it's not going down because you're building muscle, idiot." And I'm like, "Oh," and then I started to be like, "Oh shit, I actually am building muscle because I've been doing all these." Anyway, it's a really good way to build muscle that is pretty cheap and not bad. It's about $60 for a month's worth. But you just
Did
take
you
one
get it
every
on
day.
Amazon? Where did you get it?
You can get it on Amazon. You can also go to let's see what yoked YOLKED.com. And
Okay.
yeah, and it works. I don't know what it works for the dog. It works for me. I don't know, but I reckon my mom and dad are of that age now where they're starting to lose muscle, and I was like, well, you should get some of this stuff, So I think they are. Anyway,
Uh,
it does actually seem to work. So if that's something you're interested in, I normally wouldn't be, but
I am. I'm gonna
it
get some
really
Is it like
actually.
could the same effects be achieved by eating eggs,
just the
or
yolks,
is it
right?
like just the yolks? The yolk, the actual yolk part.
Yeah. So like basically,
Okay,
what it's 47 calories, 3.5 grams of regular fat, and then a gram saturated fat, and no trans fat, and then it's got a shit ton of cholesterol, a little bit of sodium. Uh, anyway, it's quite good, and it's quite filling too. Like, so if you want to have a dessert after you have a meal, you can just eat one of these, and it's like, okay, I had my sweet
You're
thing. It's
good.
good. Yeah.
Okay.
what are you
So
getting, like a fun sticks like worth of powder, or how much powder is in that? Like, is it like a
it is. Let's see. It is 8 grams or 0.28
okay,
ounces.
okay,
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's I mean, the studies are out there. You can go. I mean, that's why I know much of this because Beth did a deep dive as she always does on this, and that's how we ended up getting the human version. So anyway, I highly recommend it. And I don't know. They say 6 weeks you start to notice it, and I think I started to notice it before then. So anyway, uh, I saw a really good stand-up special, David Tell Hot Cross Buns. It's on Netflix, I believe.
hmm.
Um, David Tell does not put out specials hardly ever. So because his jokes are so fast, he has to come up with an hour of new jokes, and his jokes are
Right.
so
Right,
quick.
yeah.
Anyway, it's really funny. I mean, if you like David Tell, then
I have it on the list. I just haven't watched it yet, but I'm excited.
it's like
Yeah.
44 minutes long. It's not even an hour. And like the last 8 minutes is this very strange thing that happens, which I won't spoil. But it has to do with hot cross buns, and I won't spoil it for anyone. We saw the new Ghostbusters. I don't know if I remember talking about this or not.
You did not. What'd you think?
I really liked it. I loved it. I don't know what people wanted out of it more than what
I
they
was gonna
got.
say it got pretty savaged, so yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
that's good to hear.
I liked it. I mean, it's not stupid laugh out loud. I mean, it's not an instant comedy classic like the first one, but it's definitely as good as the second one. Probably better in my opinion.
Okay.
And then everybody shows up. Everybody that's still alive except for Sigourney Weaver for some reason. Everyone
Oh,
shows
she
up.
didn't? All right.
And
That sucks.
neither did Rick Moranis, but he's not doing movies. I don't think anymore.
I don't
Yeah,
think
no,
yeah.
he's
But everybody from like the mayor is the guy that used to be the guy that tried to shut down the Ghostbusters in the first one. He's now the mayor.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
is this true? Yes, this man has no dick. Anyway, and yeah,
Uh-huh.
and then so the entire new crew, and then everyone in the old crew, including Annie Potts and Dan Aykroyd's in a lot of it, and so is Ernie Hudson. And
oh cool.
Did Dan Aykroyd like co-write some of it, or am I getting that wrong?
he didn't co-write it, but I wouldn't be surprised. He has a weird upbringing. His family used to do these psychic shows in their farmhouse when he was growing up, and
Right. Yeah. He's big
so
into the paranormal.
yeah, he's really big into it. Anyway, he's kind of one of the main characters, so that's good. Um,
Mhm.
Yeah. Anyway, I just really liked it. I was very surprised that people didn't like it as much as I did. I mean, there's a lot of throwaway jokes in there. If you know the first movie, it's great. So I mean, anyway, I recommend it. I saw Dune 2 the other day, or Part 2,
What'd you
Dune Part
think?
2. Oh, well, it was good. It was really good. You know how like you watched the first? Have you seen Part 1? Have you guys ever seen either one of you seen
I
that?
have,
Not the new
yes.
one. No, yeah, not the new
Okay,
one.
so the thing with Part 1 is that like it's really slow and it's setting up with this world building, but it's just not much of interest. And then about 10 minutes before the end of the first movie, I was like, oh, here's something I'm really into right now. And then the movie's over, right? I'm like, crap. I actually read somebody put it as like, you can't wait for the movie to end, and then you get the last 10 minutes, and you can't believe the movie goddamn ended. Um, anyway, have you seen the second part, Doss?
No. John has
Uh,
saw it and he is obsessed with it. So
yeah, it's real good. It's like it's
yeah.
engaging, it's action packed, it's all over the place. There's some quite a bit of good stuff in it. So I recommend it. And I just read today that they're keeping it in IMAX for another couple weeks. So this is the longest movie since
Oh, that's
since
Wow.
cool.
yeah since
They're not
Oppenheimer,
keeping
probably.
it in Colorado IMAX theaters, I'll tell you that much. Fucking
That's too bad.
yep.
So anyway, I would see that. I watched. Let me talk about this first. I finally started watching the second season of Invincible, which is on Prime.
Me
Uh,
too.
oh, so good.
It's so
Yeah,
good.
yeah, really good. So if you don't mind gratuitous violence,
Oh my
because
god.
it's violent, but there's
There were some kills in like the third episode, Tice. I think it's the third episode. Oh my god. I had to turn away. I was like, I've never had that experience with an animated show in my life. It was pretty
that scene
brutal.
with the Alan the alien. That scene
Uh-huh.
with
Uh-huh.
the death. That was rough, man. I was like,
That
jeez.
was real rough. That was
Uh,
bad. That was
yeah.
one of them. Oof. His eye, just the way it was like, oh god. Yeah.
Anyway, it's not hentai, but it's a lot. Anyway, I think I'm 4 episodes in, so I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of it. And then I watched this movie finally. I've been meaning to watch it for a long time. Um, and Rift Tracks finally did it. It's called The Amazing Bulk, and it's a movie that's made entirely with a green screen and like I don't know. It was made in like 2008, so like I'm gonna guess like Apple animation or something like that. I don't know. It is really bad because it's about a guy that's basically the Incredible Hulk, and then but to keep the movie at least 65 minutes long, they throw in all this weird, just animated gifs essentially, like 3D gifs. Like he's walking down the street somewhere, and then suddenly he's sitting next to a leprechaun on a pot of gold. And then the next scene, you see a bunch of windmills. And then the next scene, you see a puppy that's flying as a superhero. None of this has anything to do with the plot. Um, it's better than Llamas from Space. I think that was the llama movie that we watched.
Oh yeah.
It's
What
better
was
than
that? I don't
that.
know if it was producers. Get on it.
But
I don't remember.
you can find it practically anywhere because the people that own it, they're not even pretending that they want to make money on it anymore. So
Lamageddon. Was it
Llamageddon.
Lamageddon?
Yeah, I think that
Armageddon.
was it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But anyway, if you want to see it from Rift Tracks, it's like $12, and if you want to just watch it on, just do a search for it. It's all over the place. So it's real bad. I mean, if you like bad movies and drinking some beers with some friends, I mean, you will have plenty to talk about. A
What
lot.
was the name of this
The
again?
the amazing bulk. Bulk.
Very good.
And it's a mix of live action creatures or live action characters. So much so is like every time when they're running, like they've got a green screen, but it's only this big, so they just run in place. Yeah, oh yeah, it's bad. Yeah.
Wow.
No. Anyway, and then I haven't had a chance to listen to it yet, but what I've heard three singles from it. The new Vampire Weekend record. I really like the three singles, so I'm gonna go ahead and do a pre-plug because I'm pretty sure it's gonna be good. But I'll bring it up next week too. So
Yeah, we should talk about it next week. I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, I just saw that as well, that was coming out. So very
yeah,
nice.
it's yeah. There's a no. It's very good. It sounds more like kind of their second and third album combined into one thing. So we're not
okay.
all the way back to the first one, but there's definitely it's not as hippie as the fourth one. I never quite liked that one as much, but anyway, those are my plugs. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Very nice. And a
And a
happy New Year to you, sir. Yes.
I can always count on you for a happy New Year's. Thanks, guys.
Smith.
The cutoff date was April 9th, 2024 with this one, I think. Did it all the way until April this year. And it was fine.
Longest one yet. It's fine.
It was fine. Just one real quick one, which was, this is on HBO, and it is The Truth versus Alex Jones. And it is
shit. I need to watch
the
that.
InfoWars asshole Alex Jones, and it kind of talks about his, if people are not familiar, he basically sort of started the narrative that the Sandy Hook killings really didn't happen and was all a government conspiracy and there were bad actors and blah, 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 blah. And just kind of talks about the subsequent defamation trials, which I believe his victims were awarded almost $1 billion in defamation, and which defamation suits have had a hell of a last couple of years. Like we didn't hear about them forever, man. Like you can really lie and have a big platform. You can owe lots and lots of money. But no, it's very good. It's very kind of sick in some ways just to kind of hear him, obviously a huge tragedy at Sandy Hook. And it just kind of follows the families through both trials and really good, really good just to kind of see the depth that some asshole will go to sell vitamin supplements on his website. And we'll just cash back to humanity because that's where, again, we land on humanity. So anyway, that's it. Unfortunately, Tyson, I did not watch much on Plex over the last couple of weeks, so I'm going to anybody. I want you to get quite an update. Quite an update is in store for you. So I'll see what kind of magic I can happen on my movies I don't pay for.
I think I can turn mine on. I don't know if it's on or not. So you would get an email showing what I watch, which it's nothing. It's Mystery Science Theater, whatever. But I'll see if I can turn that on for you because it is fun to see what Matt Smith's watching.
Just make it publicly available.
It's a great segment. Yeah. The kids like it.
Anyway, that's my headlines. That's it.
Wait, Smith, didn't you have not even a
headline?
Didn't you and I share
that's right.
unplug?
So you did. So Dawson shared this band. What did your did your smart playlist that Spotify?
It was my Discover Weekly. It just randomly popped up.
Usually they're pretty good. And Dawson sent me what was the name of this band? It's like when I looked it up. The name of the band is Jockstrap. Oh, it's a terrible name. Then I Googled them quickly, and I'm like, oh, they're two art students from Britain. Okay, we're even getting worse. Like, we know this is fucking terrible. And then the name of the album is like, it is, and I was like, I can't be reading this.
I struggle with it as well.
It's all written in like I would call like text speak, but it's I love, and these are all letters, UQT. INVU, and that is the official name of the album is I Love You Cutie INVU. What the fuck? I don't know. And it's awful. Like it's bad.
That's more than I got out of it. I actually thought it said I Love You Quentin Vu. That's what I thought.
No, I was like, I couldn't believe I was right because I was like, that doesn't make any sense. And
it took me like at least 20 read throughs, and I was like, oh, I envy you. God damn it, fucking kids.
But I'm like, that's stupid and doesn't make sense. Well, it is stupid and it doesn't make sense. And I
all
listened
the songs
to
are terrible.
There a couple of the top few tracks, and one of them was Greatest Hits, which is just like, ugh. Like gross, like called their greatest hits. Oh, shut up! Don't. I mean,
number one.
It's and then I listened to like whatever the single was that Pitchfork gave like an 8.5, and it's terrible.
Oh my god, are you serious?
8.5 on whatever the single was.
I did not know that. Oh,
I'm glad
I know what it was. It was Good
jobs.
Girl. Good Girl is a single,
that's
I
right.
think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, but Pitchfork Media
Fucking
is dead,
terrible.
and those people are
Yes, it
morons, and
is.
so yeah,
Oh
and
my
there's a good reason
God.
for that. Yeah. So anyway, don't listen to that, but do because it's really bad.
Absolutely terrible. I agree with everything
Really
you said.
bad. Aren't you like ashamed like when you like get those bad requests and you're being judged by Spotify in a way, and it's like, why are you
Yeah.
sticking this
I
in my
hate
playlist?
that.
It's like, yeah.
I get a little angry. I'm like, you guys are usually on top of it, but this is a flaw in the
But I mean,
algorithm.
Right.
haven't
Yeah.
2 taco songs shown up on your Discovery playlist in the past?
Yes.
Yeah.
But
Okay. All right.
and I do host a lot of like these sourcing jams at work, and people request random shit, so I can't
Oh,
entirely blame
you suffer
Spotify.
for it.
So
I will say you
I do.
suffer for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've played
Yeah.
the inordinate amount of the Bluey theme song, and
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
children's music is also seeping in there, along with the occasional Hoobastank, which I'm not exactly sure where it's
Oh,
coming from.
really? Okay.
It's happened like once or twice, and that's one of those days I just go back to sleep.
That's a tough roll of the algorithm. Sorry, buddy. That's
It
tough.
really is. It's
Yeah.
like what?
That's
Yeah, that's when we know there's a problem with the algorithm. Yeah. And I liked it just to make it worse. No.
This is one of their good ones. I'm pretty sure. Yes.
This is the good one.
Oh shit.
This is when it was Hooba
All right.
Stank. 2 words, yeah.
Hoopa stank. Oh,
That's it. And then we're on plugs now. Dawson, you got anything
that
better
was
for
it.
us?
All right. I got some plugs. But I will second that unplug. Fucking terrible. Moving on to some better album releases. White Oak. I don't know if you guys listen to White Oak with
Mm-mm.
what is her nuts? Jen Wassner. I love her. Uh they put out an album, a re-release of sorts from their Shriek album, and it's called Shriek Variations. And it was re-recorded, I should say, with the Metropolis Ensemble. And it's good. I love it. It's like a whole new vibe to the album. It's really fantastic. There's also a band called Brimheim, and the song or the album is called Rat King, and it's like, I don't know, like alt pop rock, but it's really good. Like her voice is really good. The lyrics are really cool. I'm into it, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm going to.
Uh-oh.
Beyonce's Cowboy Carter is actually pretty good. And I will say the reason I probably like it is because of Dolly Parton. That's it. I have an obsession with her, and yeah. So I'm not going to lie. I don't know what happened to me. I blame everybody at work and all of their fucking Taylor Swift bullshit on a weekly basis. Some of it seeped into my bloodstream, and I'm not happy about it. But I do
Yep.
like some of the Beyonce album. So there you have it, kids.
They're gonna play that
Wow.
clip you just said at your Christmas party.
Right.
Fuck that. I'll destroy it before they even get the chance.
I'll just-
That's all. I'm going back to indie rock after I said that. I just vomited in my mouth a little bit. All right, moving on.
if there's a podcast, if there's a podcast that actually destroy every copy of the podcast, I think it's ours. Like I have hopes that if we needed to get out there,
yeah,
like we could probably bribe those people. Like I'll give you $5. All right.
Hey, if they could, yeah, it's costing more to store all this shit.
It really is.
Then there's a restaurant in Denver that we actually went to before ministry, and it's a Michelin honorable mention. So it doesn't have a star and it doesn't have a recommendation, but it's almost there. But it's called Hey Kiddo, and it's very hip. It's very good. It's all like small plates for the most part. Really fun, great music, like great hip hop music all over the restaurant. Like you go into the bathroom and you hear Tupac, and it's like really well designed. I love it. So if you're in Denver, when you're in Denver next time, or if you live here, check it out. And then there is a new doc series on Netflix called Files of the Unexplained. Everybody knows I love my ghost shows. This is like the perfect marriage of ghost and aliens becoming one, with the nice production value that Netflix offers with its documentaries. So it's actually done quite well. Lots of alien stuff in it, more so than ghosts. So check it out. I'm into it. And then last but not least, Jonas and I are watching a new limited series on Netflix called Ripley, starring Andrew Scott. Have you guys seen this?
We started it. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks
It
really
is
good.
so good. It's based on the book by Patricia Highsmith, The Talented Mr. Ripley. It's wonderful. The cinematography is magnifique. Like, I cannot say enough about that specifically. I loved it. I'm loving it. We haven't finished it yet, but we're just like gobbling it up. It's fucking brilliant.
It's in black and white, which is
Yeah.
got to be the first TV series done in black and white in a while. I'm hard
Did they
pressed to
drop
think of the
all?
last one.
Did they drop all of them, or is it weekly?
Yeah, they dropped all of them.
Sweet. Okay.
So you can just binge the shit out of it, and it's worth it. I love it. I love everything about it, from like the typeface that they use. Like, it's just, love all of the people in it. They did a great job. Great job. Yeah.
All right.
Check it out. That's it.
I forgot.
That's
I forgot.
Biggest one.
I don't know if this is new or not. But we watched the Steve Martin thing on Apple Plus.
Oh, how was that?
Very good. And I read his book, and I still learned some stuff about him that I didn't know.
Cool.
Highly recommended. It's really interesting because it's in two parts. The first part is like basically when he stops being a stadium comedian and tries to reinvent himself as something else. And it's really
okay.
Yeah, no, and then the second half is like, past the jerk when he was doing like LA Story and things like that, and then the banjo and so anyway, highly recommended. Yeah.
That sounds cool.
The guy's very good at the banjo, like a little too good, I should say.
If he's also really
did this happen?
He's really good at card tricks and like magic and stuff, and I mean that's just motor skills.
Is he?
Yeah, he really is.
Yeah.
So
I didn't know that.
His first act was magic, and then jokes thrown in. So, and he worked at Disneyland when he was 12. I mean, yeah, it's really interesting.
That's adorable.
Yeah, it's interesting watch. It's really good. Okay.
Well, that's it. Silence.
We've done all the things.
We've done everything.
I think so.
There's nothing we forgot about.
Oh, I'm sure there's something.
It always seems like
guys,
seems like I'm leaving my cell phone behind, but no, I think we're good.
Way to go, surviving the eclipse. I'm proud of you both.
Oh, thank you. You too. You too.
Yeah.
I think you played it safe. You're just like, I'm going to pretend like this isn't happening.
Yep.
And then tell everyone it was awesome later. And I think that's the way to live life.
We did hear owls actually hooting in the middle of the apex, which was kind of funny.
Pretty neat. That's
neat.
Sure, owls were confused.
The squirrels could give a shit. They were just like, whatever, we're squirrels. We don't give a fuck. But the owls were like, something's going on here.
That's on brand. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, guys.
Hey, good one.
Until next time.
Yes,
right,
until next time.
Sooner rather than later next. We'll see you guys soon.
Yeah, I'm moving this weekend, but we'll have Wi-Fi Sunday, so we'll be back next week.
Yeah.
All right.
Finally moving into a house.
Congratulations.
Woo. Thank you.
It's fun.
Only took me a decade behind you guys, but whatever. All in due time. We'll get there eventually.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Bye, guys. I Smith has to pee. I like how he's like, wrap it up.
I got a real pee. Oh, yeah. Shit in my eyes. Oh, yeah. Floating back here.
He's like, Dustin, shut the fuck up. I was about to bring up 3 more things.
Next time, addendum.